Hello everyone, my name is Ella. Welcome back to another video. Now I know at the end of my last video, which was the Universal Yum unboxing video, I said that I didn't know what I was going to film next. But then I remembered that I said I wanted to do one last final HHN wrap up to kind of talk about the event, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, stuff like that. So that's what this video is going to be. I'm just going to jump right into it. But before I say anything else, I just would like to say that anything that I express in this video are expressly my own views. They do not reflect Universal Orlando Resort as a company. They do not reflect NBC or Comcast as a company, and they do not reflect any of the intellectual properties that Universal acquired for Halloween Horror Nights this year in any way either. These are just my own thoughts, my own opinions, my own feelings about working the event this year. So it's just me. It's just my thoughts. Nothing, not tied to Universal in any way whatsoever. Okay, so I think the easiest way to break this video up is to discuss the things I liked about it, the things I didn't like about it, and then favorite moments or memories from the event, because I do have several. And I have some memorabilia from some of those moments as well. So things I liked about the event. Obviously this whole event, working this whole event, was a dream come true for me. Not only was it my first year doing it after auditioning for pretty much every summer since I moved here in 2017, and for it to also be like an icon year / an anniversary year was just absolutely magical. I've literally had so much fun working HHN, and I can't wait to do it again. But as far as the actual work goes, it was somehow both better and worse than I thought it would be. But just focusing on the good stuff, I loved that we had set times that we went out there, that we weren't out there all night, because my previous experience with other haunted houses, Thrillvania, if you've been watching my videos for a long time, I used to work at a place called Thrillvania in Texas, and Cutting Edge Haunted House, their sister haunts. Those were all very much, you were out all night and you got one 30-minute break and that was it. So working an event like Halloween Horror Nights, where you have different sets all night, so you're not out for the whole 7 to 8 hours of the event, was really nice. I really enjoyed it. And it's just nice to have time off during a night at work so that you can kind of deal with some of the terrible guests that you've had throughout the night, and just kind of unpack and relax for 45 minutes between every set that you're out. So that was really nice. I personally, it's kind of, I liked it and I didn't like it, but I liked it more than I didn't like it. But I personally liked having the vinyl in front of my scares. That was a hot topic for the event as a whole this year, was that people didn't like the vinyl, people appreciated the vinyl, just all that kind of stuff. Because there were some actors that were like, oh, I can't do my scare if there's plastic in front of me. There were some that didn't want the plastic because they wanted to be able to reach out at the guests, which we're not supposed to do anyways. But I liked it because it kept people from touching me, usually. And most people were smart enough not to try and walk into it. But not everyone was. I had a little corner and both sides were vinyl. And people thought that the way to get over here was through and not around the corner. So I would have many times where I would go out to scare someone and they would also try to walk right into me. So I never enjoyed that. But the vinyl I really did appreciate, because it did keep people from messing with me a lot more than some of my other coworkers and castmates that didn't have vinyl. I don't know how much it did in regards to protecting against COVID or anything like that. I never got COVID throughout the run, as far as I know. So I'm guessing that helped. But it was nice. I enjoyed it. I don't think it took away from my scare at all. The only times that it did was when it had so many handprints from people either touching it or running into it that I couldn't like see out of it very well. But that was easily fixable. So I didn't mind it, and I kind of liked it because maybe it was like false protection, but it felt like real protection to me. So I appreciated it very much. I also appreciated how on top of it, the house ops in our house were definitely more towards the end of the run than towards the beginning, because when we first started, I think there were a lot of people that didn't quite know what they were doing, or were doing one aspect of the job much more vehemently than the other aspect of their job. So they were doing a great job at making sure that people kept moving through the house. Sometimes too much so. People were getting yelled at and screamed at to speed up through the house, which I'll talk more about that later if I remember to. But they were focusing so much on that sometimes they weren't checking on us to make sure that we were okay and didn't need any help, which I will also talk about later if I remember to. So, but towards the end of the run, the more we also kind of like knew them and, knew how they were going to react if we needed help. They were very helpful. We all kind of had like a rapport with the different house attendants that were in there. Some of them gave us candy when they walked by. Some of them would, peace sign or thumbs up. We had one that had one of those tiny little like plastic hands that she would come through and she would just wave at us like this with the little hand on her finger. Loved it so much. It was so good. It literally a highlight every time I saw her coming through. What else? What else did I love about HHN? Loved the guests, and I say that I loved the guests that loved us, that respected us, that respected our house, because there's a line between those guests and the general public that came to HHN. But the guests that loved our house and that loved us as actors and as entertainers and that were very respectful, I loved and appreciated them so much. By the end of the run, we had several groups as well as individuals that we all just kind of knew by name, by face, because they would come through so much. We had some that I'm actually really good friends with now, that would just go just like round after round in our house and like wouldn't do anything else for like the night. They would just stay in our house. I have one friend who went through 50 different times throughout the entire run, which just blows my mind, because the fact that anyone would go through any HHN house that many times, just because they love it, is just, it makes me so happy, especially knowing that it was like a house that I was a part of. So it was just, I don't know, it's really nice. It's nice to know that people appreciate the work that you're doing. So it's just, I don't know, it's nice to be appreciated like that. I loved my coordinators. Obviously, this was my first HHN, so I don't have any like experience to base this off of aside from previous outside of HHN work. But our coordinators were absolutely kick butt. They really cared for us. They really made sure that we were always at our best, had what we needed, had what we wanted. All the times that I got injured, they were really good about, making sure that I either was well enough to go back out there or that I had what I needed to be able to go home early for the night, to rest up so I could be back the next night. So really this was my first real like experience with having coordinators and people in that kind of like, I'm going to call it a managerial position, because it kind of is, because they're like above us. So I viewed them as managers essentially, even though they were like house managers and like stage managers and stuff like that. I considered our coordinators as part of that managerial team, because they checked us in and they made sure that we were all, like on time to set and everything like that. So I really appreciated them, and they really just helped the whole entire HHN process go so smoothly the whole run, and I'm so happy that I know all of them. This one might be kind of a little facetious. but I really loved that our house was so well received. Because it's always a hit or miss when you have a original house at HHN, because oftentimes when people come to HHN, they're going to focus on the big names of the event. Like this year, it was Beetlejuice and the Haunting of Hill House and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Brides of Frankenstein. People were coming for those big names, and didn't necessarily know or care for all of the other original houses. So for so many people to just absolutely fall in love with our cute little Spirit Halloween house was just like, so it made me so happy, because I mean, I feel like I can't go up from here. This is my first year and we got House of the Year. Like, nothing is ever going to compare to this. I'm going to want to win House of the Year every year I do HHN from here on out, which is unrealistic, but like, I'm going to try for it. I'm going to try for it. But no, just knowing that the work that all of us actors in Wicked Growth were doing was just so well received. Like, I just, icing on the cake to such an amazing first year, truly. And on that note, and on the last section of my happy things about HHN, I loved my cast. Like I've said like 10 times in this video already, this was my first HHN. I really didn't know what I was getting into or anything like that. But my cast literally became like my family. We saw each other 5 to 6 nights a week. We exchanged gifts. We had, instead of like Christmas, like Secret Santa, we did Boo Buddies. So we all like got to know each other. I mean, we were with each other so much throughout the whole entire run. And not even just at work, we would have breakfasts at Denny's or IHOP, and we would go to the parks and just stuff like that together. And even since the event has ended, we all just like hang out with each other sometimes still, because we just want to be around each other so much. We have like 3 different group chats on Facebook with all of us in there, and it's just, even the people that weren't in my cast, because like I said, we have sets, so when one cast is on, one cast is off. So even the people that were in the opposite cast of me, I'm just so close with. A lot of them I still work with now doing the holiday parade, so that's been really nice to still get to see them every day. And it's been, I know for a fact that I've made some lifelong friends here at HHN, and I really hope that I get to work with a lot of them in the future, in the next HHN. That would just make me so, so happy. I literally, there's not a single person in my cast, I think, that I wouldn't want to work with again. Like, I love them all so much. So now I'm going to talk about some of the downsides that I kind of felt with HHN. And there's not nearly as many cons as there were pros, so there is that. But I think the main thing, there's really 2 main things that I didn't like about the event. And of course, this is me coming from someone who, it was her first year experience, had never done an event like HHN before, so that might be part of it. But the one thing that I really didn't like was that unless you knew what days you wanted off when you auditioned, which was back in like March, you didn't get a night off. You had to either ask for days off that you know you wanted off in March, or you had to, like I did, your very first like fitting, you had to like fill out a form and hope that you could get a night off. Which, and I get, when you're auditioning for HHN, you're committing to the whole season, and that's why they ask you for your availability. But like, I don't know, it would have been nice if like people could have, maybe, because like the alternates for the event, there's like 2 groups of them. There's like a Thursday through like Saturday, or like I think it's like Wednesday through Friday, and then it's like Saturday and Sunday. So there's like 2 sets of alternates. So like, why couldn't why can't we cast like the actual house like that? That way people can have nights off to experience the event if they want to. I don't know. It was just, I know there were a lot of us that, I mean, I did get the one night off to experience the event, but I know a lot of my friends didn't get any off at all, and really would have liked to. So I think that would be, I don't know, like, it's just, obviously if you know that you want a night off for the event, you should plan that in March, but it's also hard to know what night you're gonna want to do the event, especially if you're trying to like figure out when friends and family are coming down and stuff like that. I don't know. It just, I feel like that was just one of the downsides, that's just like the most present with working HHN. I don't know. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. And then the only other thing that I can think of that I really just did not like about HHN was that sometimes there felt like there was a lot of like favoritism going on. I touched on this very, very briefly earlier, but this has to do with the coordinators. Like I said, they were all great. They all like really did a lot for us, and they all did their job extremely well, but they weren't fair across the board with everyone. For example, I know I said they were pretty good about helping me when I needed to leave or when I was like hurt or everything. But there were a few times where I just needed like a second to recuperate, and I was told that I could not leave my set at all for any reason unless I was going to health services. But then there were other people that would get very minor injuries that were allowed offset for 1 or 2 full sets. There was one person who actually got a concussion during like our first or second set, and then sat out for the rest of the night, but then came back for the last set. So like, I don't know, like, I don't understand why some people were told they absolutely could not leave set for any reason. And then some people were allowed to sit out for a while and then go back on. Like, maybe there's a like legal reason for that. I don't know. But it just, I don't know, it felt questionable to me. I also feel like the whole scare actor of the week, scare actor of the year, can also have the potential to be very favoritism based, because I know a lot of the people that got it in our cast some of them were people that very obviously were suck ups to the coordinators. They, were always just like doing everything they could to impress them, and it was kind of obvious to everyone else that they were being like that. And stuff like that. And then there were people that I feel like deserved getting Scare Actor of the Week at least once, that never got it at all either. Honestly, I feel like they could do away with the favorite or the Scare Actor of the Week / year altogether, because I mean, when you have an event that only runs for 9 weeks and you have a cast of people that's like 20 or 30 people, you're leaving over half of your cast to feel like they did something wrong by not getting picked to be a Scare Actor of the Week. Like, I don't, like, does that make sense? Like, I feel like that just has the potential, because I know me and several of my friends felt very, like, what did we do wrong because we never got Scare Actor of the Week? And I feel like we shouldn't feel like that. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like the whole, like, Scare Actor of the Week, Scare Actor of the Year thing should just, like, not exist. I mean, if they want to keep having the one at, like, the end of the year for, like, the whole event, sure, I'm not going to stop them for that. But, like, for the house, I don't know, man. I feel like that doesn't need to exist. Okay, one last thing, because I remembered that I said I was going to touch on it later. And this is the other half of the guests that are not so nice. Because we had a lot that were they were not very nice. The problem with HHN is that they sell copious amounts of alcohol to people, and there's really no limit. I think you can get like 2 drinks per ID, but that's at like each register, so you can go around the entire event and drink as much as you want, and then proceed to act as stupid as you want in the houses. So then you get people that come through the house that are trying to touch the girls, or that are trying to climb onto the set pieces, or that are literally like clawing at the walls to pull themselves along because they can't walk straight, which then damages the set. And it's just like, I know HHN isn't going to stop serving alcohol because that's their biggest moneymaker during HHN. But I just, like, I don't know. I just wish guests behaved better, because it's not even just the drunk guests. Like, we have guests that they're just jerks. Like, that's just the kind of people that they are. They see something and they want to touch it. They see plastic, they want to try and rip it down. They see a person, they want to try to touch them. Like, I've never in my life had, like I said, plastic hanging in front of me. So many times I would pop out to do my scare. People would scream because I scared them, and then try to walk through the vinyl I just scared them through while I'm still standing there. Like, I don't know what wasn't clicking for people, but like, come on. And then of course there's the people that would like, they'd be coming through and like, they would go the correct way, but they would see the plastic there, so they would still swipe at it or like pull at it. Or like one person I was literally coming on set at the top of our set, like had just finished adjusting everything and pulled my curtain back to walk out, and she was crawling underneath the vinyl to come into my boo hole. And I was like, ma'am, like, what would possess you? What would possess you? But I mean, it was people like that that really just made the event like frustrating. So that was like a lot to deal with. But I like to think most of the nights that the good guests outweighed the bad guests. It definitely was the case for our last night, which was on Halloween. I don't think there was a single set that night that people weren't coming through clapping, cheering, all kinds of stuff like that. The good guests usually outweighed the bad guests, but sometimes the bad guests were just really terrible. Okay, I really can't think of anything else like bad or upsetting about the event, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to some of my favorite memories from the event. My biggest, most favorite memory from the event was, I want to say it was maybe like halfway through the event or towards the end of the event. Sorry, it sounded like something just like moved in my living room. But anyways, so I'm in my boo hole doing my thing. I pop out from my first scare, which was a laugh, and this person says my second trigger, which is kind of cheesy, kind of silly. And I was like, oh, okay, this is someone that's been through several times. And like, I looked at him a little bit and I was like, oh yeah, I recognize him. So since he had quoted my second scare, I went ahead and did my second scare for him. But he stops in front of the vinyl and points at his shirt. And I sit there and I look at it and I try to read it in the dark, and I realize that this person is wearing a shirt with my character on it, with my audio line on it. And it was this shirt. It was orange though. So this was the shirt that he was wearing. And I just remember I looked at it and I went like this and I looked at him and I was just like so honored, because the character that I portrayed wasn't really like a main character or anything at all. So to have someone that loved my character so much that they drew their own artwork and had a t-shirt made so they could wear it to the event was really just like, it made me so happy. Like, I was so touched. Like, I could not believe it. And literally as soon as I got off of set for that set, I like went in and like got on Facebook and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, if anyone knows if this person is a team member or an annual pass holder that comes here a lot, please connect them with me. I will literally pay them to make me a t-shirt. And within 48 hours, we'd found the guy through the power of social media. And so he sent me the PNGs and all the different like image files of the artwork specifically, and was like, yeah, I just made the t-shirt on like a website online, and then they sent it to me. But here's the artwork, have fun with it. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. So I had one made for myself, obviously, because why wouldn't I? And yeah, so like the fact that my character is on like a shirt, that someone loved my character enough to like make a shirt. I also just realized that I'm pretty sure this font is like the Agatha All Along font from WandaVision, so that just makes it so much better. But yeah, it's got my character on it, and then it has our house name and the year on it, so it's just, I don't know, it's so special to me, and I love this shirt so much, and I'm just so honored that someone did this. Like, wow. I loved it. And then I also had a friend that I follow on Tumblr, I mean not Tumblr, wow, on Twitter, that I followed before the event, and then I saw that they were trying to draw fan art of the characters to like get to them at the house when they were walking through, which was always difficult for me because I had the vinyl so people couldn't reach in there. But this person, they ended up going to, they didn't come in my house that night, so they dropped off this picture with the like house attendant at like the very, very entrance to our queue line. But yeah, they drew me this. That's a picture of my character. And that also has the line on it that says, I'm the pretty one. And yeah, I don't know. I'm always so honored when people are like inspired enough to make artwork for the things that they love. And like, yeah, I know I was like, hey, I'll be in this house. This is my character if you want to draw one. But like, they didn't have to draw it at all. And the fact that they did, and like that they took the time to do it, just like makes me so happy, and I feel so special. So yeah, I don't know, I had some good people. Obviously I talked about like so many friends that I had that came in. I really loved that everyone that like specifically came to the event to see me, so my parents, my brother, one of my friends from college, they all, when they came through to see me, they all came through on like my first set. And it was, I don't know, it made me so happy that like they cared enough to be there on like my first set of the night. Like, I don't know, that made me feel happy. I have a few more things here that I wanted to share. This one really was about halfway through the run, but one of our cast members, in my cast specifically, he made every single one of us a Lil Boo. Lil Boo was a pumpkin that was on our facade outside of the house that went viral. Everyone loves Lil Boo. Lil Boo has all kinds of merchandise now, but he carved each of us our own little boo and like filled it with like candy and stuff and gave one to each of us and it was so cute. I love it. I never want to get rid of this ever. And then he also put like our house name and the year on the back of it as well. So I'm gonna cherish this forever. I love my Lil Boo, and he's gonna stay with all the Lil Boo merchandise that I have acquired throughout the season, and I love him. So it's pretty common. I hope this isn't messed up. It's pretty standard for houses at HHN to have like a t-shirt or something that they do for the cast and crew that you can buy at the end of the season, so you have kind of like a tiny little like memorabilia from working the event. And the person that drew ours, he was in our cast. Most of the ones that do the shirts, they're like someone in the cast that has artistic ability. But ours in particular, I think, was really, truly amazing. This is our art print. We got a t-shirt and an art print that we could purchase. So this was our art. This was the Pumpkin King. He was the main character of our house. And then we had some Grim Reapers in there. This is the main witch. This is the Pretty Witch's sister. So she was the main witch. She had her spoon that everyone loved, and then when it broke and she couldn't have it anymore, people were so upset. And then there's just another more like handful of different characters that we had in there. And then there's Lil Boo also again. But yeah, this artwork is just, it's so amazing. And I love it. And on the back of it, I had everyone in the house entirely, A-cast and B-cast, sign the back of it. So I have both of those to keep forever. I showed that really fast because I don't want you to see anyone's real names, because that's not nice. But yeah, this is our artwork for the house for the season, and I love it. And I think it's a little messed up, and I'm sad about it. Oh no. That's what I get for leaving it on the coffee table for weeks. And then lastly, we have, at the end of the event, you get a patch and a pin if you made it through the whole event and you're still working. So you get a patch and a pin, and the pin is super cute. It's just a little like lapel pin. And it says, you know, Halloween Horror Nights 30, never go alone, which was the slogan for this year. And it says entertainment staff on the bottom, which I love. And then our patch for this year has all of the HHN icons that were featured in Icons Captured, the house. So it looks like this. It's got all of the icons on it. I think all of them is... I think the only one that might not be on here is Fear. Yeah, I don't see Fear on here. But all the other icons are on there, and then of course it says, you know, cast 2021. So that's really nice to have. I'm kind of beating myself up for not getting the HHN jean jacket that they had this year, because that would have been such a great tradition to get that jean jacket and then add all the patches I get for all the years that I work. I goofed that one up big time. Maybe I can still find it on eBay for like triple the price. But yeah, those were just a couple of the highlights of the season. Like I said, I made so many good friends out of my castmates and out of the guests that came through the house a lot. I hang out with a lot of them. I go to the parks with them. I work with them. It's really just been like such an amazing, magical experience, and I'm hoping that that was the foot in the door that I needed to get into entertainment. So far that's working out, because I am doing entertainment for the holiday parade. And they just posted about positions that are opening seasonally and part-time and full-time with entertainment at the dry parks. So fingers crossed that this is getting me where I want to be with the company and just with life in general. So send me some good vibes, because this is what I want to do. I did have some nights at HHN where I just like did not want to be there and I like dreaded coming in. But with the holiday parade, like I love being there every single day. Like it makes me so happy to be there. And I've really just like realized like this is what I want to do. Like obviously I want to be acting and I want to be like working as a performer in the entertainment aspect. But escorting has been so amazing right now too. So I'm just like over the moon. And if I can just like make that my job here at Universal, I would love that so much. But to get back on track a little bit, yeah, that's my wrap up for HHN. A whole lot of pros, tiny little bit of cons, memories to last a lifetime. I cannot wait to do it all again next year, and I really do hope that I get to do it next year because our wrap party is on my birthday next year. So I feel like I have to be cast next year for that reason alone. So yeah, that's the last of my HHN videos. If you have any questions about HHN or want to know anything else specific about my experience with HHN, you can leave a comment. I will probably respond to it. But I will not be making any more videos about HHN until the audition process. Probably I might, at least just like let you guys know that I've auditioned when it happens next year. So yeah, that's it. No more HHN for the rest of the year. I can't guarantee I won't be wearing an HHN shirt because I pretty much live in HHN shirts right now. But no more videos about HHN. So if you don't like HHN or if you don't like Halloween, you're in the clear now. It's going to be holiday stuff for the rest of 2021. Not entirely sure what I will be doing for my video next week. I might go to Disney this weekend, so maybe I'll try and film around Disney this weekend. But if I don't, next weekend, someone in my family is coming down. It was going to be my mom, but she has osteoporosis and she hurt her leg and currently cannot walk on it. So it might be her or it might be my brother. But one of my family members is coming down. We're doing the Christmas party. It's not really the Very Merry Christmas party anymore. It's an after-hours event that costs like 3 times what it usually does. But my mom wanted to pay for it, so I was like, okay, you do that. So I'm doing that, and then whoever comes down is also coming to see me work for the parade at Universal as well. So that'll be nice. I'm really excited. Yeah, so holiday videos coming up somewhere in here. I could do my Christmas special this weekend. I have 3 days off this weekend. Today was my 3rd day out of a 6-day week. So I'm halfway through, but my next 2 shifts are both 8-hour shifts, which means I'll be there all day. But I don't know, either sometime before Christmas I will do my Christmas special, and I'll decorate and all that good stuff. But for now, that'll do it for this video. If you enjoyed watching this one, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to be notified of when I post a new video, go ahead and click that little bell icon down there. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye!